And now it's time for a little bit of an artistic flair. Out of all the sectors that have adopted rare sats, it may be the art industry that's the most vibrant. NFTs on Bitcoin weren't a thing in a big way until Ordinal showed up, and when they did, they opened the floodgates of innovation. Each day, more artists who previously only had Ethereum, Solana, or a handful of other top blockchains to mint their works on are realizing they can do it on Bitcoin. And it only makes sense that the best art would eventually find its way into the top blockchain and cryptocurrency in the world. Inscribing art onto rare sats is very much a personal choice. Many top collections are choosing to use these special rare pieces of Bitcoin as their preferred canvas. Beyond that, using a rare sat to inscribe your art is like using some of the top brushes available and the top paints as well, opposed to inscribing on a common sat, which is basically your dollar store equivalent.
The Ordinal people were the first ones to recognize the value of rare sats because they need to inscribe their Ordinal onto a satoshi for it to enter the market. These inscriptions are permanent and require a canvas, require a satoshi to be inscribed on. So Ordinal collection have the choice of using a regular satoshi. The Ordinal collections can also inscribe on rare sats, giving their collection a fancy canvas and adding to the perceived value of the collections. If a collection is inscribed on Hitman sats, it's gonna hit different than if it's inscribed on pizza sats. We are seeing a growing number of Ordinal collections being inscribed on rare sats because it truly sends a message of caring about Bitcoin's history using a relevant canvas for their inscriptions.
Inscribing art onto common sats is perfectly fine, and it's also economically viable. Unsurprisingly, it's going to be the default choice for a lot of artists out there. However, for those creative minds that want to bring their vision to life on the most coveted of digital canvases, there's only one choice: rare sats.
Now, how do these two seemingly separate areas of ordinals, that's rare sats and inscriptions, intersect with each other? Well, firstly, inscriptions can be inscribed onto rare sats in such a way that the themes of the Satoshi rarity type complement the themes of the collection. For example, my Flowers for Finney collection is a breedable and constantly evolving tribute to Bitcoin pioneer Hal Finney. As such, I chose to inscribe the collection onto 1 million Satoshis that were mined by Finney himself back in 2009.
There's also the obvious perk of the art getting more value due to the foundation it holds, being on-chain and being on a rare sat. And sometimes the message behind that piece of art can have its story merged with the underlying rare sat that it's inscribed upon. For example, let's say an artist wanted to create a masterpiece honoring Satoshi Nakamoto. They can ensure that their creation is steeped in the Satoshi theme. And they can do this by using a Block 9 or a Nakamoto rare sat to inscribe upon. Every single time a rare sat is used in this way, it has a deflationary effect. There are now less of that rare sat for collectors, creators, and investors to get their hands on. Thus, the more popular rare sats become in the art, gaming, and music industry, the more they're going to be inscribed upon, and that will reduce the circulating supply for everyone else. This is the exact dynamic you want to see because no matter who you are, you win. The investor, well, they see their rare sat value increase. For the collector, they now have a provably more rare and scarce item. And for the creators, they will have a growing audience that's now specifically looking to acquire masterpieces that are inscribed on rare sats. As someone who founded one of the first luxury NFT art companies in the world, I can speak with confidence when I tell you that a lot of the top artists are now seriously looking at Bitcoin for art, as they should. If this trend continues, we may actually reach a point where top artists refuse to create art on Bitcoin unless they have rare sats as a digital canvas. And from their perspective, why wouldn't they if they had the option? Look, the world of art is a subjective one. Finally, it's found its perfect foundational layer in the form of rare sats, objectively scarce pieces of digital currency history. For many, this is the match made in cryptographic heaven that they've been waiting for. And this brings us to the end of our series. So if you've made it this far, first off, congratulations. Secondly, make sure you really impress upon yourself all the lessons learned in this series because they're meant to take you step by step through A to Z. Once you've got into the industry, you'll find that there's a lot of cool people, projects, and information out there for you to consume. Just remember, rare sats have always been hiding in plain sight. The only difference now is your eyes are open.